So, now that we're live, I am just going to clear the space. There we go. So, my name is Sheena Dennise. I do many things. I like to call myself a soul alchemist, which means that I transform trauma or pain into treasure and beauty. And so I hope you'll receive whatever it is that you need to receive by watching these messages. So since it's Gemini season, just going to do some cleansing. Since it's Gemini season, we're going to start with Gemini, and then we'll go around the zodiac. And sorry, Taurus, but we'll end with you. So I'm just burning some Palo Santo. Palo Santo, my background is Jamaican. I will share that. And Palo Santo actually reminds me very much of a smell, even though it's a South American holy wood, sacred wood. Palo Santo reminds me of a smell that's very familiar in Jamaica. So I have this attachment, connection to it for sure. While we let that burn out, I'll put my candle back here so you can see it. And just feel to take a breath. That's cool. If not, that's cool too. It's just to get ourselves centered before we start pulling cards. Also, another note, I am downtown Toronto, Ontario, Canada. So you're always hearing sirens and, horns and that sort of stuff, just so you know. So what I'm going to do is pull some, I use the traditional Rider-Waite. I'll try to go back and fill in all the cards that I've used. I've been reading cards for 20-something years, but professionally for over 10 years. And my gifts very much around channeling. So I do astrology, tarot, Reiki. Those are like my three main things. And my intuitive abilities, qualities are far beyond what I see in the cards. It's actually what I'm hearing, clairaudient, what I'm sensing, what I'm feeling. And so anything that doesn't resonate, it probably isn't for you, and that's okay. And if things do resonate, I would, of course, love for you to share, like, subscribe, all that kind of stuff. Last thing I'll say is you'll probably notice at the bottom of my screen, I have my name as well as my organization. That's called When People TO. It's really about decolonizing spiritual healing, decolonizing wellness, ultimately. To me, tarot, astrology, Reiki, all of the things that I do to keep myself well. I'll go into another video about mental health and all of the things that I deal with, and why I've gravitated to these practices. So, a little intro, let's start, Gemini. Okay, so I'm gonna try and do fairly quick readings for everyone so I can get through. Coming up for Gemini in June. So we'll do a card for each week approximately. And then I'll pull some clarifiers, oracle decks. So spirit, angels, and ancestors of light, higher selves, spirit guides of light. I welcome you into this space for your love, guidance, protection, and whatever you need to share and what folks need to hear. Mm-hmm. Interesting. So the first week, interesting. So the first week, I'm going to pull some clarifiers. The first week we have the Queen of Pentacles. It's reversed, but Queen of Pentacles. So I feel like you're really focused on your money right now, Gemini. Maybe feeling a little bit worried about your money or out of sorts, or just really trying to think about what it is that you need to do to get yourself feeling like you're balanced, you know, your equilibrium is back financially, but materially, you know, it's like where you live, it's your car, it's all of your practical matters that actually, it feels like you're going through this material healing right now. I actually also think that you know that there's finances or money coming in, but maybe it just hasn't come in yet, because we also have the Ace of Cups here. And the Ace of Cups is indicating that you are about to receive an offer. It doesn't have to be, it could be emotional, but it feels like it's more emotionally fulfilling, and it feels like it's really connected to your money. So like you've been waiting on a financial offer, a new job, a promotion, someone to even just recognize the work that you're doing. Yeah, and there is healing happening here. So this first week of June, Gemini, I will say, like, if you're waiting on something, it's coming. And so, if anything, I think try to stay in that space of receivership. And sometimes to stay in that space of receiving means that you're not doing as much. It means that you're sitting more, you're listening more, not actioning as much, which can be challenging, particularly when it comes to the first, you know, it's May 31st, but when you're coming to the first, you know, of the month, and it's almost like, you know, every time the first of the month comes around, personally, I get this, and I'm Gemini rising, I get this focus around, you know, what's next? What do I have to do? And not just because of a business, you know, it's like a restart. So there is some kind of financial offer or proposal coming through. And it does feel like it's going to be healing for whatever it is that you've been going through, and maybe also to help you pay your bills. Second week, what's interesting, you have the Knight of Cups and it's reversed. So, you know, we have the Ace of Cups, and it's upright in the first week. And the second week, we have the Knight of Cups and it's reversed. And it makes me feel like maybe you're turning down something, or because you've received the offer the first week, or you know that something's coming in the first week, when somebody comes to you in the second week, or something's proposed to you in the second week, you're not really, I don't think you're going to go for it. I think there's going to be words, or there's going to be some kind of communication that really, on your part, where you clarify your intentions and what people maybe are perceiving about you that's incorrect. And I feel like it has to do with a sense of trust or distrust, because I have the Prenite card. This is from the Crystal Oracle deck. Let me see if I have the book somewhere. Nope. Oh yeah, I do. So the crystal reading cards. Love this. So this is really all about trust and where you haven't been able to trust, most likely, where this person has probably betrayed your trust. And so then maybe this is why you're turning down, or maybe you're just feeling like this isn't aligned. Even if it was aligned, it's no longer aligned. And so there's some kind of truth that you're speaking here, Gemini, that is going to articulate that and really give clarity to why you're feeling the way you're feeling, and how you're going to be moving forward ultimately. What feels like you're probably going to be removing something from your space, or at least being very clear about why you won't be accepting a certain proposal or offer or suggestion. Moving into the third week, we have, it looks like a beautiful week actually. So we have the 10 of Pentacles, yay. So this could actually be when you receive that financial blessing or the opportunity to move forward. There could be a focus around family on in the third week of June. You could be taking a vacation, because I also have the Hermit here. The Hermit really either could represent a Virgo, or could represent a need to take care of yourself physically, you know, in the ways that you do on a daily basis. So whether it's exercising, eating well, you know, when I think about these two cards paired together, it makes me think like you are really focused on going within to be able to create the life that you want, and looking at yourself to see how it is that you can really feel abundant within your body, within your family, within your physical space. And there could be a Virgo involved, doesn't have to be, or there could be this 9-month cycle or even a 40-day cycle. Or there could be some kind of connection to September. So I don't know if you're planning to take off time until September, that could be another option. Excuse me for just a second, I'm gonna blow my nose, sorry. Okay, and what feels really nice about that is that you have the orpiment card, which represents success. And so if you're concerned or worried about how, if you can take this time off, or if you can really take this time to focus on yourself and your abundance, your family, it feels like there could be a celebration. And even if not, it does just feel like the third week of June is like a pinnacle point in this month for you. That has to do with like people cheering you on, family cheering you on, success, and personal satisfaction. The last week of June, we have the Knight of Wands, and it's reversed. So if I were to pull this card on its own, it would make me feel like there is some kind of decision that's being made that has to do with your passions, that has to do with maybe going one way, and because you're going one way, there is something that you have to leave behind or cut out, or it's like not subscribing to something anymore, or at least getting focused on what your passions are, you know, which would make sense because the clarifier that I have is the Lovers. So when we get the Lovers, Gemini, this is your card. This is also, so I think the end of June is going to be very much around you, focused on an ability to make a choice, very much related to personal satisfaction, romance. It doesn't have to be romance, but if it's not romantic, then it does have to do with something that you feel motivated, emotionally fulfilled, stimulated, and excited by. Crystal clarifier, we have croquet. So sexuality. It does feel like at the end of the month, Gemini, you do have an option or an opportunity to delve into a new romantic situation, and even to awaken your sexuality. Maybe it's felt dormant for, let's see, at least a period of 6 months, or in the last 6 months, there could be some kind of change that's come about. Yeah, I'd be interested to see what happens for you in July, but it does feel like in June, or coming to the end of June, you have a choice to make, and it could be actually someone proposing, offering you something, saying, hey, let's date, let's see what this is about. And I will say, I think that this is actually also too connected to your sense of confidence and self growth that really occurs throughout June, that brings this opportunity for choice for you. So June looks nice, and it looks like you're getting some rewards for the work that you've been doing. So right on, Gemini. I love that. I love that. I'm going to move on to Cancer. I should have another candle up here. Oh, I do have a candle up here. Let me light that one so I can. Yeah, Cancer. Okay, Cancer. So Cancer, what's coming up for you, Cancer? Cancer for June. Oh, and I should say happy birthday, happy belated birthday to all of the Geminis out there. If you've had your birthday already, if you haven't, happy early birthday. And Cancer, happy early birthday. So, Cancer. So for Cancer, I do have something shortly, so I'll have to speed this up or split these readings. Either way, it's fine. So Cancer. Cancer, this first week, you may be feeling a little bit trapped, tethered. It's not really trapped. It's really like tethered. That's the best word. Like feeling like you're connected to something that you really don't really want to be connected to anymore. And you're not really sure how to get out of it. It's almost like how do I move from this space when either you're tied to it because you have obligations that getting some blessings for my throat. Either because Cancer, you are like, for example, what comes up is like being tethered to a job or a situation or a relationship that doesn't really fulfill you, but it's something that it's like you feel obligated to it. You've made the choice or the decision to, it's interesting, confirmation, acceptance of letting go. I feel like, yeah, you're no longer distracted. I feel like maybe you were distracted around what it is you were really wanting to do. And now it's like, I know what I want to do, but how can I get out of the situation that I'm in currently to be able to move forward? And even if you don't know exactly, that this isn't it, the situation that you're in is not it, even if it was once. And no matter how long, I do think the last 7 to 8 months has probably been a little bit like, there's too much going on. There's too much distraction, or not even focusing on the right things, whether that's you or other people. It's possible that you work with 7 or 8 other people, and they don't align with you, or like even if they did, they no longer align with who you are and what it is that you feel like you've come here to do in this lifetime, you know. Like the happiness has kind of been drained out of what it is that you've been working on. And so right now, I think in the first week, you're kind of like, I don't want to do this anymore, and I need to figure out how to get out of this. It's going to be good. You're going to figure it out. Got the randomly, because I've been shuffling, the success card again. So I think ultimately Spirit's asking you to focus on the final outcome, the success, not about the how to get there, because then you get caught up and it feels like, oh, this is too much to think about, when that's not, if the situation is coming up for you to recognize that you're not happy ultimately. What's nice, coming into the second week, you have the 9 of Cups, so the wish card, and you have the Temperance card. So Temperance represents Sagittarius. Doesn't have to be a Sag. It could be an opportunity to heal, an opportunity to alchemize a situation, transform a situation. And you do get, and I feel like because you have the wish card here, the 9 of Cups, you do get your wish. You do get the opportunity to say what it is that you want and to action it. Oftentimes, you know, sometimes when I get the wish card, it's a little bit like, be careful what you wish for, but this is very much connected to some level of healing that you probably have needed. You've been waiting on. And now you have this space. I feel like it's actually been divined by God or the universe, Spirit, for you to have this healing opportunity. What's nice is that you have the Amazonite card and it representing life purpose. It's reversed though. So it makes me feel like you are recognizing that you're really wanting to figure out the next steps along the path to your life purpose. And it feels like the situation that you're in is not exactly it. Even if you thought that it was like the next step, the time has come for you to move forward. And so in the next little while, Amazonite, if you want to work with this crystal, it should help you to really become more focused on your true self and your true passions, values, perspectives, and what it is that you have to share and bring and offer to the world, right? And then in the third week, we have in the third week, we have the Fool reversed, and we have the Page of Pentacles. So a couple of things. I feel like there is, definitely a conversation of joy, excitement, wonderment, really thinking about like, okay, well, maybe you're getting some inspirations. I will say to be mindful that, to be mindful of making any choices that might be not even seen, but to be mindful of making any choices that are risky or hasty. Not even risky, because we can take risks, but don't be hasty. This is not the time to be hasty. There needs some, like, it feels like you're in the stage of planning, you know, what do you need financially? Who do you need around you? And so there's this needing to figure out your resources. And so it's not really a time to move forward just yet. It's really I would say if you have the opportunity to move quickly, that might be an indication that you don't really want to move as quickly as is offered or is on offer for you. Because things will end up moving forward in some way, and you will be guided, you know, in that sense. So it's maybe something, an idea or a plan that comes through that you are going to action, but it's just not yet, you know. So I'm just going to pick a crystal card. And the one that popped out is Sunstone, so empowerment. So it does feel like you're getting your power, you know, you're recognizing your resources, really thinking about, it's almost like the feeling that I get is like, okay, I have this, maybe I'm getting a lump sum of money, maybe someone's asking me for my opinion, and I have a contract connected to that opinion, you know. And so it's really empowering you. And now it's kind of giving you some seeds or inspiration or ideas around how you can move forward. But there are things that need to be put in place for structures and, you know, framework that will help to have a container, provide a container for this joy and empowerment. So moving forward at the end of the week or at the end of the month, we have the 8 of Pentacles. So I see you could actually be, just one second. I see you could actually be maybe applying for something, studying something, really working hard on something to build something new that's related to the next step in your process. I'm gonna sneeze. Nope, it's gone. And confirmation, we have the Emperor. So the last week of June could connect you to a father or a father figure, or a banker, or someone that has some kind of authority to help you to either to go back to school or to facilitate some kind of learning opportunity. I will say that between the next 4 months, but particularly in August, there's going to be some kind of connection to the work that you're going to be doing going forward for this opportunity that comes in at the end of June. I'm just going to put it out there. There could be some kind of opportunity where you maybe connect with a father figure, where you're working with a father figure or with fathers in general. Or this person could be giving you things to work on, ideas to work on, tasks. And we have the patience card. So there could be a level of patience that you have to have. I mean, it makes sense if you're working on a craft, building something new, planning something. It's almost like I get the feeling of like building a house, and no, it doesn't have to be that extravagant or that extreme, but it's like all of the, you know, you would have to have patience the feeling that I get is like, you know, if you're building a house, you have to have the structure and the framework and different people involved, and all of that takes patience. So yeah, there is something that you're building that's coming through. And I do think that August is actually going to be a significant point in this building. That's what it feels like. It feels like it's building, and it actually feels like it's related to home in some sense. And the father figure could be helping in some way, whether that's your own father, your partner as a father, any mature, it doesn't even have to be a male, but any like structured, mature energy, authoritative energy that helps you to build, ultimately, to start something new. Yeah. So that's it for you, Cancer. Thank you. Let's move on to Leo. Got some poppers here. I'm just gonna put them back. We'll see if they come back up. Sorry, I'm feeling a little bit stuffy today. cold coffee. I think we'll probably get to Libra season, and then I'll have to restart this after my meeting. Reading this for Leo. Leo, Spirit, what messages do you have for Leo for the month of June? What messages do you have for Leo for the month of June? What messages do you have for Leo? Ooh, interesting. Leo, I feel like you're standing up for yourself in some way. Okay, Leo. You have, for the first week of June, you have the Page of Swords. You also have the Page of Pentacles in its reverse as a clarifier. I feel like there's you're trying to figure something out intellectually, but I feel like it's not like, it's only at the beginning stages. Excuse me. It could be a younger child that you're dealing with. It could be that you're helping them to reconcile what it is that they're thinking, feeling, analyzing. But if it's not a younger entity, it doesn't even have to be a child, but someone that's younger than you. I do feel like you yourself are trying to figure out, like, where am I going here? What is it? What is it that I want? Yeah. That's interesting. We have the Page of Pentacles. Yeah, it does feel like you're going through this transition that's related to your resources. It's almost like you're trying to figure it out, but it's more like you're trying intellectually to figure it out, and it's not an intellectual thing. You, as a clarifier, you have petrified wood, which represents the ancestors. So I will say, if you're not connecting with your ancestors in some way, or praying with them, speaking with them, connecting with them, I do feel like they are here for you, either to provide you a message, or they're just saying, like, maybe there's some kind of connection to them, to your family, but to your ancestors perhaps that have passed on as well, that are giving you some insight into maybe the work that they did. The insights that they're giving you. I feel like they're trying to tell you, come out of your head a little bit. It's more like feel into it more than you're trying to think into it. In the second week, you have the Five of Pentacles, but it's reversed, which is good. So generally, this might be a card of lack, or feeling like you can't feel your blessings, but it's reversed, so it makes me feel like you have found your blessings, you're receiving it, or you know that it's imminent, right? We have as a clarifier, we have the Queen of Pentacles, but it's reversed. So it's possible that you are, and particularly because we have two pentacles, there could be a connection to your mom or a mother figure, or any ability to nurture and nourish yourself as well as others, practically, not just financially, practically, materially. Whether you can be there for someone is also a practical matter, right? And that doesn't cost anything. But it does feel like there's a level of planning here and sorting out again. You are coming out of a space of low confidence, even if it feels like you're not really there yet. Yeah, interesting. Leo, you have the crystal. It's a master teacher card, the awakening crystal, and all connected to emotional healing. So this would totally make sense if I, talking about the this feeling of like lack or low confidence, or really trying to figure out what your next steps are. Ooh. I think I turned on the heat because it was chilly yesterday, and it bothered me. So next, the third week of June, we have what feels like a portal. You move through a portal in the third week of June. Yeah, if you are not connecting with, excuse me, sorry, I didn't cut myself off that time. You have the World card. And to me, anytime I feel like I have the World card, it's like a birth, a portal, a moving through a space, changing spaces. It is the ending, right? It's the final card. It's the transition point. It's the harnessing. It also too represents the fixed sign. So Leo, this would be represented by you, Aquarius, Taurus, and Scorpio. I don't know if any of those signs would mean anything to you, but it does feel like there is some kind of full circle moment that's coming. And as a clarifier, we have the Magician. It was reversed, but it could be just because this hasn't come through yet or hasn't happened yet. These two cards together, super powerful. Like you have created this transition, this moment. I actually feel like, when I think about the first 2 weeks of June, it's almost like you are waiting on this transition to happen. And maybe you're getting a little bit like, oh my God, when is it coming? Is it happening? Can I trust in this? Starting to get a little bit like concerned that what you've been working towards and planning on isn't coming to fruition as fast as you would have hoped. But stay in your power, stay in your intuition and knowledge that whatever it is that you're working on is going to come. You have the resources. Don't feel like you don't, It could be in the next month that things really start to move forward. And as a clarifier, you have the Numenite card and representing healing or the healer. So I think that you are coming into your own even further. I think anytime I get this card, it's like people know that they're a healer and they probably have been working on their healing journey. But this is another level up, or because it's reversed, it feels like maybe up until this point, you haven't really fully accepted this title of healer. And now it feels like you're really accepting it. You're really understanding the magic that you have, your power, your grace. I don't know why I say grace, but that's really what it feels like. Your understanding of like the world and how it works, and your power ultimately. And it feels like maybe you haven't really truly accepted it. Like, fun and games and all that kind of stuff. But when it really comes to like your life and the work that you're doing, it feels like this is a pinnacle point in your healing journey and your healer journey, right? The final week of June, you have the Devil upright. So it could be, what comes up intuitively is like, when you're about to leave a situation, or you have left a situation and people from the old situation are kind of like trying to pull you back, or pull you in on a positive note. It could be you working with a corporation, a large corporation, government organization, or Capricorn, because the devil represents Capricorn, the energy of Capricorn. Yeah. And you have as a clarifier, you have the two wands. which would indicate that you are really very, I think maybe at one point you were a little bit like confused or lost as to how to move forward. And now you're ready to make the decision to move forward. You're getting your passion back, your inspiration back, you know. And as a clarifier, you have the tiger's eye, which represents courage or prosperity, abundance. It was reversed. So it's almost like you're getting your courage to overcome something that has kept you bound. Even if externally it looks like good, you know, inside you know the truth of it. And it feels like you're getting the courage to break the chains from something that is no longer serving you. And it doesn't have a path, it doesn't have a part of your path moving forward. Yeah. I will say, you know, looking at all the crystal cards, there's this energy, like all the colors are kind of the same. There's this energy of healing for sure, like you're being guided by your ancestors, and to have faith and courage in the work that you're doing on yourself. You know, ancestors, emotional healing, courage, and the healer. So they're all kind of the same energy. Similar, you know, they work hand in hand. Yeah. So, Leo, I will say for June, I do feel like you're going through this transition period, and it may feel a little bit uncomfortable, but it feels like Spirit's kind of saying, like, you know, we got you, we're here, we're guiding you, we're supporting you, we're loving you. If you're feeling scared or alone or unsure or lost even, I'm going to say it's all good, but it's a passage of time, you know? And you are going to be moving through this space, this portal, closer to the end of June. I will say for June, before I move into the Virgo, I do think that June, I know astrologically June's we're still in eclipse season, right? We just had our first eclipse on May 26th, the summer eclipse season in 2021. And so there's going to be a lot more changes happening for everyone. And for you, Leo, I feel like it is almost like this clearing before your birthday happens. So let's move forward with Virgo. Virgo. Moon sign. Virgo, I feel like. But like the Virgos are really hard workers, amazing people, service providers, like people that inspire. You know, look at the most famous Virgos. I mean, the Virgos that come to mind immediately are Beyonce and Michael Jackson. And so you can just look at their work ethic. Virgos have an extreme sense of work ethic. And responsibility to their work and their service. So Virgo. What is up for Virgo in June? What is up for Virgo in June? Oops. What is up for Virgo in June? What is up for Virgo in June? Start there. Ooh. Virgo, the first week of June, I feel like you are trying to manage, you're trying to be truthful about how much you have on your plate. Excuse me. Yeah, I feel like you're trying to be truthful about how much you have on your plate, because it feels like you have a hell of a lot with the 10 of Wands. Like, Are you trying to do everything by yourself, or do you not have enough people on your team? Because it feels like it's something that you wanted to do, you're passionate about, but it could just feel heavy and overwhelming. What's nice is that you have as a clarifier, you have the Queen of Swords. So you will be commanding your truth, asking for help. I will say, I think being as truthful as you can about where you are, what you're dealing with, where your mental state is at, why, not to say why you need the support, but you know, what it is you expect things to go, just being very truthful and commanding from that space. I feel like that is what's going to help. One, to declutter your mind of all the things that you need to be doing or wanting to be doing, but also so that other people know where you're at and what you can deal with, right? Let me pull a crystal card for that for the first week of June for Virgo. First week of June. Virgo, I'm going to clarify for the first week of June. I'm going to take this one. Ooh, past life. Lapis lazuli. So if you have lapis, you may want to pull this out. Lapis lazuli is making me feel like you are processing some old ways of doing, of working, old ways of like how you used to work, how you maybe used to think that you had to do everything by yourself, how you've been conditioned. Because I have so much blue here, it does feel like it's more mental conditioning. How you've been, this looks a little bit purpley, but it's really more blue, or purpley blue, in like, you know, third eye and above. Yeah, there is some kind of like communication that needs to happen. And how, specifically speaking to how you have done things in the past and how it has or has not worked for you, and why maybe you are conditioned to do the things that you do in the way that you do them. And I feel like ultimately you're going to be asking for help. But in that asking for help, you're going to need to be clear about where it is, what it is that you're doing, and why you need the help, and you know where you're at. I feel like you're going to be like almost, you know, as an example, I will share. I was in a job a few years ago, maybe more than a few years ago, maybe a few years ago. Anyway, I was in a job a few years ago, and I think it was like the best manager that I ever had, because he was very just upfront and open about his mental health and how it shows up, and you know, when he needs to take time, and that he encourages, you know, other people to be able to do that as well. And so maybe it's that sort of thing that you can not necessarily get people on the same, essentially getting people on the same page. And maybe it's also a matter of like clarifying for other people that don't understand where you're at. Yeah. So yeah, moving forward, second week, it's possible, I will say, Virgo, that you have someone that thinks that they're going to get away with something, or they think that they have the upper hand, because we have the Seven of Swords here. And oftentimes it makes me feel like someone here is not being upfront or truthful. And I have the Page of Pentacles as a clarifier, but it's reversed. So there could be some kind of financial. Some like maybe feels like they can get away with giving you less, you know, like, oh, they won't even know. But you will know, you will feel it. And you know how you'll feel it? because we have Procreate card as a clarifier, crystal clarifier. I feel like when when you have this interaction, you will feel either turned on as an indicator of like, yeah, this makes me feel good. This makes me feel sexy. This makes me feel inspired, motivated, turned on, you know? And when we think, I think sexuality, it's also just like the ability to give and receive pleasure. So if in the second week you encounter a situation, Virgo, that makes you feel like turned off, you will know that this person or entity is trying to not do what they should be doing, or they're not giving you the benefit, your full due. You know, that's how it feels. Or they're trying not to give you your full due. So be mindful of that for sure. Third week of June, we have the Justice card. It's reversed. It could be just because we have not come to that space of the third week of June yet, but it could also represent the dissolution of a marriage, because Justice represents marriage or contracts, or also the sign of Libra. Yeah, it could. So when I get the Justice reversed, it could mean that you are you're expecting some kind of understanding, reconciliation, a balance, almost like a balancing of your equilibrium, or relationships equilibrium, and it feels like the synergy or the synchronicity or the alignment isn't really there. But again, this could be something that comes up in the third week of June that offers you an opportunity to have a discussion around this, what feels like an imbalance or feels like an injustice. And so as a clarifier, we have the Queen of Pentacles and it's upright. So actually I feel like, well, you know, Earth sign, this is you. You're actually like, do I want this? Like where am I fitting in this injustice situation? Like where I have power. I know that I have power. Am I going to let this situation not even overtake me, but continue to create injustice or imbalance? How am I going to reconcile or rectify the situation? What resources do I have and what can I do about this? Am I going to leave? Do I want to leave? I mean, I don't feel like you want to leave, but if it feels like it's almost like a hard, like you're reflecting, like it's a harder decision than some people might think that it is for you. Let me pull a crystal clarifier. You want the balance, but yeah, nice. So Master Teacher card, we have the crystal, the awakening crystal, emotional healing. So there is most definitely some emotional healing that's happening. And it doesn't, I mean, it's more for you, right? Like the emotional healing that's coming up, but there could also be this, this awareness that in order to heal from this injustice, you need to focus on yourself, not need to, you want to focus on yourself. You want to focus on your emotional healing to reconcile whatever dysregulation this injustice has presented to you. Yeah. And it could also be this third week of June has you planning your resources in a way. Either that's incoming or that you presently have. And then last week of June, we have the 8 of Pentacles, but it's reversed. So it definitely makes me feel like there's something you're no longer working on here. You're like, we're not doing this anymore. I've done enough work here, you know. I'm going to there's someone I used to date a while ago. They used to say like, "Oh, put the album out or whatever, or the book out or whatever the the thing it is that you're working on." Because we can always, as creatives specifically, if you're a creative, we're always in this cycle of like, is that not always, but for the most part, like, is that good enough? Is this done? Is this done? Can I do more work here? Is there more work to be done? Can I affect this in a different way? Can I have a deeper or greater impact? And it feels like at the end of June, you are done. The project could be done. It could be a project that you've been working on. So it doesn't just have to be like a relationship or a job or something like that. It could just be an entity or something that was taking the last 8 to 9 months, because we also have the Hermit here and it's reversed. So something that has kept you internal is now going to be ending. And it does feel like the last 8 to 9 months has been significant for you. Virgo, I'm going to pull a clarifier, crystal clarifier, and then I'm going to jump off and then come back to do the rest of the readings for everyone. So I'll have to edit this title because it says for all signs, but it's not for all signs. It's for Gemini to Virgo. So, clarifier. We have Stibnite. And it's the conflict card, but it's reversed. So you are letting go of this conflict. It's very clear to me that you are moving out of something that you're no longer working on. You don't have, either because you're choosing to walk away from it, or the time the contract is over, the time is done. You're moving away from what has felt like conflict or a struggle, internal struggle. But it's also an external representation of struggle, or of feeling like misunderstood, or the feeling, or what I'm hearing is like, I don't want to do this anymore. I'm glad this is over. I'm glad this is done. Whew, we're done, So Virgo, for you, for June, looks like you're wrapping things up. You're coming to this space of completion, moving things forward, moving yourself forward. So it's kind of exciting. I think sometimes I do think for a lot of folks, as in general, this is not just for Virgo, we will be going through some kind of transition, change, movement, endings, for sure, endings. I mean, we just had the lunar eclipse in Sagittarius at 5 degrees, and it's really connected to the eclipses that we've been having since June 5th, I believe, of last year, June 5th of 2020. And of course, we know, last year, June was very active in with the Black Lives Matter movement and, protests and riots and uprisings, really, for disenfranchised and underestimated groups of people, not just for Black folks, all folks, LGBTQ community, and people with mobility issues or limitations or conditions, developmental, neurological, neurodivergent, anything that makes you different. It's really only just begun. But there is going to be a purge, because of this eclipse that we just had. So, and then of course we have new beginnings with the Gemini eclipse that's on June 10th. So anyway, I will end it there. And I hope that if this helped you in any way, that you'll like, share, and or subscribe. Because that's how things go around here. Anyway, I hope you have a good day. And there's some blessings that you receive just by checking in or touching here.